Happy New Year!
Happy New. All right. I hope that all of you have an adequate to better than adequate New Year. I currently am unemployed, so it can only go up from here.
There we go. That's a positive way to look at it. My life is changing rapidly and I'm scared. But hopefully for the better.
You job-having shithead. All right. So, it's another episode of Out of the Ice. And just like most things, now that we are, working on the third episode, I've thought of so much better names for this podcast, but we're too far in.
Well, it's only episode 3. We can change it if we wanted to.
No. We're commit to the bit.
What?
Commit to the bit.
I want a list of these names after we're done with the recording, because I'm like,
if I remember them by then, I will let you know.
What the shit? You didn't even. This is why I'm keeping a track of the ever-growing list of potential episodes.
Okay. So, now that it is the new year and pretty much all of the holidays that anybody actually gives a fuck about are over. I mean, I guess some people care about Easter, but do they really? To
me, it's Thanksgiving light.
To me, it's just like, it's usually, since it's kind of a religious holiday, sort of. I mean, its origins are very religious, unless you're talking about the rabbit stuff, and then that's pagan. But the Christian side of it is just, it's a day to go to church, but it's always on a Sunday. So how is that different than normal?
Wow.
It's time to go to church in a slightly better suit.
2 minutes into the episode and we're already completely off track. We could discuss the shitness that is Easter when we get to Easter.
Yeah, but so we don't really have to do a themed episode to make it topical. So I'm writing another egregious sin that Kat's parents have just unloaded upon her by their negligent parenting. She's never seen the 1989 superhero film directed by, at the time, newbie director Tim Burton, starring Michael Keaton, who would later be known as Birdman and the Vulture, Batman. 1989 Batman.
So, on the topic of my awful parents, so I was thinking about the movie the other day and just sitting around, and my dad would watch movies and I would remember some of them in the background, like the lips for the opening of Rocky Horror Picture Show. I remembered that even though I had no idea what it was from. I don't know what made me remember this the other day. I think there was a scene. There was like some guy sitting in a car and it was kind of dark, and I was asking my dad what he was watching and it was Batman. I can kind of remember this, like, I don't even know how to describe the scene. Like it's two people sitting in a car. They're facing towards the right. You can kind of see into the car through the windows. And is
one of them a chick?
I don't remember.
And is one of them Batman?
I'm pretty sure one of them was Batman. I don't remember who the other person was. But
it was probably a girl, because usually Batman in this movie, because Robin's not around yet in this point in Batman's career in this movie timeline. Because this is a recently emerged Batman. It's not necessarily Batman Year One, but this movie takes place in a point in time where the police still don't know that Batman is actually a thing. They think it's just, a superstitious thing of the criminals. Okay. Like it's just a rumor, hearsay, tabloid subject. Okay. And this is also very important to the Batman iconography of pop culture, because even though it was based on recent comics and like comics that had been around since basically the end of the Silver Age with its campy shit, pretty much the Silver Age ended there were a few different things that kind of marked the ending of the Silver Age, but for general purposes, a lot of people attribute the death of the Silver Age with the death of Gwen Stacy in Spider-Man, because the death of Gwen Stacy broke a very important and hard, fast rule of the Silver Age comics code, which was that named good guy characters are not allowed to die.
That seems so low risk.
Yeah, it is very low risk nowadays. But back then, like, the Comics Code Association was fucking ridiculous. You could not have werewolves in stuff.
What?
You could not have werewolves. Werewolves were not allowed. Most general horror theming was not allowed. Excessive blood, not allowed. Showing villains as sympathetic or even too cool, not allowed. Showing serious crime that wasn't just, Saturday morning cartoon levels of, like, robbing the bank, not allowed. Pretty much anything morally gray, not allowed.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I'm like, so basically it's just black and white of...
Yeah, and this was because that was going on pretty much... The Silver Age started right in the midst of the Red Scare and McCarthyism, where everything... Like, that was kind of the beginning... That was kind of the beginning of the proto-Karens. The soccer moms screaming wildly at the White House, "Won't somebody think of the children?"
Oh, God.
Just ruining everything for everyone forever. And then...
And boomers want to say that millennials are offended by everything.
Yeah, and the 80s kind of did away with that, where, rated R gore-fest movies like RoboCop would get Saturday morning cartoons geared to kids. But then the 90s, early 2000s, and a little bit still today, it's gone back in full force. Because unfortunately, mothers think that they are just... Every mother thinks that they are the Virgin Mary, essentially. They think that they deserve everything because they pushed a kid out of their vagina. Which, no, you don't. That is a natural biological thing that everyone in every species has been doing if they are a female of the species since the dawn of fucking animal life. Get over your goddamn self.
We went from talking about Batman to Karens.
Well, Batman's mom's name was Karen, so it kind of fits.
Oh. Okay.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't.
Tie back in.
Her name was Martha.
Oh, fuck you.
But surprisingly, both Clark Kent and Bruce Wayne's mom's name are Martha, which would later become a plot point in Batman v Superman. Which, although it is a really fucking stupid plot point in the movie, good lore pull. Good lore pull. I will give you that one, Snyder. Good thing to pull from. Yeah, and Batman's dad's name is Thomas, by the way. Thomas and Martha Wayne.
Okay.
I don't remember what Superman's dad's name is, because nobody cares, and in most modern iterations, they kill him off anyway.
Oof.
I don't think it was also Thomas. That would show a lot of creative bankruptcy.
There's plenty of basic male names. Like,
yeah, you
could pick another one. John. There, done.
It actually might be John.
John Smith.
No, John Kent.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, I already I forgot what Superman, like, I forgot his last name.
I think it is something like John or Joseph. Because they're from Kansas. Which, by the way, did you know that the first inklings, or at least the first time fans had really been kind of like wanting a Batman and Superman team-up movie was because of this 1989 Batman movie and the Christopher Reeves Superman movie.
I mean, I don't know shit about this movie. I didn't know that. Like, yeah. Was there something about, like, is there something about the performance?
Both of them were just really fucking good at playing the characters.
Okay.
and they kind of understood the character. And they both understood that, like, because a lot of people don't understand Batman. They like Batman, but they don't get him. Batman is a paragon character. A lot of people think that he is a renegade. He's not. He's a paragon. He has a strict moral code of ethics that he almost never goes against unless absolutely forced, and is very, very morally strict and sound, and is usually on the, whitest side of the justice system. The only parts that kind of dirty him is the fact that he is a vigilante, unless we're talking about the Adam West Batman, who is a duly deputized officer of the law.
It's just so...
That is a thing.
I
That is
know.
a literal plot point that they even say in the very first episode, that Batman and Robin are cops.
So I have seen a little bit of that version of Batman because...
You're welcome.
Not so much you.
I showed you some.
You showed me some, but it's usually on in the background at home because my dad watching me TV, and just looking at it and seeing Batman and Robin stand next to the police in those ridiculous ass costumes.
Yeah.
Just hilarious to me.
With extremely, extremely Irish lieutenant. Oh, faith and begorra, Commissioner Gordon. What are we gonna do?
So silly.
We're gonna do the only thing that we can do in this show. Call Batman. On this straight up phone. Hey, have you ever noticed that Bruce Wayne in his study just has an identical matching phone? Oh yeah, that's weird. We should probably ask Batman about that. But, yeah, no, but, like, going back to the thing of iconography, most people who didn't read the comics still thought of Batman as Adam West. They still thought of it as that extremely campy, cheesy show, which, I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. I fucking love Adam West as Batman. I think as a representation of the Silver Age style of Batman, Adam West did a great fucking job, and the fact that, they had a TV budget in the 60s and did all of the special effects that they did, like, practically because CGI does not exist at that point. Impressive as fuck. Like, if you actually go into the making of that show, it is an impressive undertaking, and good God, the amount of times that Adam West and Burt Ward, who played Robin, had to go to the emergency room. They were troopers.
They did their all their own stunts.
Well, not all of their own stunts, but remember, a lot of the bad guys back then used gas. Again, because of the Silver Age thing, there wasn't as much gunplay, so they used gas. Like, that's when Joker's laughing gas kind of started. But back then, it was non-lethal. But, gas is usually invisible, and it was supposed to be comic booky, colored, smoky gas. So they used smoke. A lot of smoke inhalation. Had to have fucking oxygen tanks off the side of the set. And they're in spandex and wool, so it's not like those are really that breathable at that point in time. It's like spandex, wool, and a bit of polyester. But this movie kind of brought everyone up to speed in the pop culture that Batman was not that cheesy character anymore, because the comics hadn't been that cheesy character for a long time. But, this is 1989, literally a year out from the 80s, starting to end and the 90s beginning. Even though, technically the decade of the 80s wouldn't end until 1991 because there was no year zero, but whatever. That's semantics. Just like technically, scientifically speaking, even though we are in 2020, the decade is still not over.
Yeah.
But everyone will consider it over because everybody likes the number ticking to zero.
Yeah. Fuck this that decade.
Yeah. I mean, some good things happened.
Yeah.
We got most of the MCU.
Yeah, true. On the topic of the MCU, So, as far as stuff that I know about Batman and DC coming into this episode is jack shit. Because
Yeah.
I
Because
did
they don't have a successful cinematic universe at the moment.
that. Yeah, I would say that would be the majority of it, because I didn't really start liking anything with superheroes until a classmate of mine basically gave me homework to watch the first few movies of the MCU universe, and I'm like, oh, I kind of like this,
And I'm sure you did it begrudgingly because you were like, ugh, so mainstream.
Well, I did it because that girl was pretty cool. She was the only competent person at my table at the moment, so we just kind of became buddies, and I was, we were learning each other's interests, and I'm like, okay, I guess I can try these movies that she recommended to me, and I liked them.
Yeah.
But DC just fell off my radar because it's not MCU.
Yeah. DC does have some good heroes, some great villains. Most of the great villains are Batman, though. Unless you're talking about Lex Luthor, who is a Superman villain, though is honestly at this point kind of an everyone villain. Lex Luthor is a Superman villain, but the rest of Superman's villains aren't nearly as memorable. You've got Cyborg Superman.
Superman.
Yeah, he's a cyborg that looks like Superman. You've got Metallo, who is a dude who got blowed up, turned into an android, and his core is fueled by kryptonite.
I kind of know what he looks like. If anything, from Waiting for the Superman ride at Six Flags, and they have all those pictures of the heroes and villains throughout the years.
Yeah. And then you've got Mr. Mxyzptlk, which his whole thing is that you get rid of him and send him back to the fifth dimension by making him say his name backwards. That's it.
Oh, okay. Batman.
That's his whole thing.
But Batman villains, because literally, I think the only one that comes to my brain is the Joker.
You've got the Joker. You've got Mr. Freeze. You've got Two-Face. You've got Catwoman, even though sometimes she's not a villain. You've got Riddler. You've got, let's see, Killer Croc, the Penguin.
Harley Quinn, right?
Harley Quinn, yeah. You've got Poison Ivy.
Okay.
You've got Bane. You've got Scarecrow. You've got Calendar Man.
Calendar Man?
Yeah, he's a serial killer that themes his killings to holidays.
I mean, he could have come up with a better name, but I mean, the theme's cool.
This was a Golden Age villain, I believe. So this was back when they were leaning more heavily on the detective thing.
Oh, okay.
You've got Hush, who is a dude who was a childhood friend of Bruce. They were both rich, and they kind of had a mirrored thing where Bruce lost his parents tragically. Well, a little bit later, this dude also lost his parents tragically, but it was revealed he set it up. He had his parents murdered to get the inheritance, and then realized that Bruce was in better public standing and richer than him, so eventually went to a plastic surgeon, made himself look like Bruce, and tried to identity theft Bruce, get all of his money, kill Bruce, and ruin his reputation.
Ooh.
You've got Mad Hatter. You've got Black Mask, who literally looks like if Red Skull's skull was black instead of red, and it was a mask instead of his real skull. You've got all of the gangs of Gotham, like the Mafia. You've got the animated series exclusive villain of Baby Doll.
Baby Doll.
Yeah, she was a child actress who, when she grew up, kind of like Gary Coleman or the guy who played Mini-Me, found out that they never grew. So like even like as a full-grown adult still looks like a little kid, which means she can't get serious acting jobs because she just looks like a fucking kid and is typecast as the kid of this like sitcom. So she just kind of goes insane, kidnaps her old co-stars to try to like relive the glory, and Batman has to stop her because like she has amassed these like henchmen and shit like that is causing crimes and all that fucking shit.
Okay.
It sounds stupid, but the way that they do it in the show is actually surprisingly tragic.
Oh.
Like, Batman doesn't stop her. She, like, is in a room of mirrors, like, sees what she wants to see, and, like, just kind of breaks down crying and gives herself up. Like, yeah, it's actually pretty heartbreaking.
Oh.
And the reason I'm saying this, even though eventually we plan to watch the animated series, is because you won't remember.
Wow. Remember this clip. Just make sure you save this clip so when we get to that episode, and I'm going to say right now, I will remember this.
You won't.
I will remember.
It'll just be like, so this episode we had the villain Baby Doll Eyes. I did not expect a character called Baby Doll Eyes, and I'll just laugh.
And then you'll play this recording over right after that to make fun of me.
I will. Because I'm the editor of this show. Who is your god now? But yeah, on to the 89 one. It was surprisingly dark. And it was mostly based on like the tone and like setting and themes of stories like The Killing Joke or Dark Knight Returns, like the more dark aspects of the film, because again they were trying to show that this is a more serious character. But other than that, I want to ask you, because you have apparently only seen one clip of this movie.
Yeah, and I'm not even sure if it's what I remember is actually right.
Mm-hmm. What do you think will be the general plot of this movie? Like, what do you think it will cover of the Batman mythos? Who will be involved? What characters? Like, just give me a prediction of what you think will happen in this movie.
Oh, God. I don't even, again, because the only thing I have to go off is my limited knowledge of Batman himself and the Joker. I would guess, like, those two would probably be the hero villain of the movie, just because, I don't know, I would consider the Joker to probably be a bit more of a dark villain. I don't know, Batman does Batman things and the Joker does Joker things, and Batman... I really don't have anything to go on. I will read my notes of what I know about Batman 89.
Okay.
I know Batman is Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne. Sometimes
Bruce
Terry...
Wayne, yeah.
Sometimes Terry's what's-his-face. Bruce is rich and has dead parents.
Sometimes Terry what's-its-face?
Yeah, I think that was his name.
Terry?
Was that his name?
Oh, do you mean Batman Beyond? Terry McGinnis?
Yes, that's what I was thinking of. Because I know he was Batman in that series, but I wouldn't think, not in this movie.
No, and that's because Batman Beyond takes place when Bruce is in his like mid to late 80s.
Yeah.
And that's why Terry takes up the mantle. It's not just, they just switched the name.
Well, yeah. I guess I should have, I did know that, but I guess I should have been more clear.
If we want to go that route, Batman is Bruce Wayne, sometimes Dick Grayson, sometimes Tim Drake. At one point was a different guy who wasn't related to any of them. Clark has dressed as Batman once.
Yeah, and
Terry was Batman in Batman Beyond. At one point, Tim Drake was Batman Beyond because he got flung into the future while Terry was missing in action. I think at one point, Bane in a comic dressed as Batman to try to cause confusion. Joker dressed as a shitty Batman in a comic, I believe. Barbara Gordon is Batgirl, which is a form of Batman.
Yeah. And then my last note is, if I remember correctly, Bruce Wayne does not like or use guns.
No. And do you know why that is?
Parents were killed by a gun, right?
Yes.
Okay.
There's a little bit more to that. Part of it is that he is a paragon, and he doesn't want to kill. And the reason that he doesn't want to kill is his whole reason for being Batman is that if he can stop it, he never wants a child to go through the trauma, heartbreak, and horror that he went through that night in the alley. Criminals have kids too. So,
yeah. Okay.
He doesn't want to leave a kid orphaned.
Okay.
You know, the dad in jail, he is a criminal. Sometimes you got to go to jail, little Jimmy. But he doesn't want to kill them. Except for that one point when Dick Grayson had to stop being Robin because Batman literally was fucking flying off the handle. And to give him a reality check, Dick literally said, "I can't do this anymore. You've gone mad." Like, fucking get a handle on yourself, you crazy, crazy fuck.
But yeah, back to what I really don't know.
Also, fun fact. Do you know how Dick Grayson got the superhero name of Nightwing?
No, and I don't remember Nightwing either.
Nightwing is who Dick Grayson became after he stopped being Robin.
Oh, okay.
And is my favorite Batman character outside of Batman Beyond. Because Nightwing is essentially Batman if Batman did more one-liners and goofs. Which is also why I like Terry as Batman, because he gives more one-liners and goofs. I'm sorry, but I'm going to stop you because I am the Knight. Gets old after a while, goddammit. I'm sorry. I know everybody loves Bruce. I love Bruce too. But you have to admit, compared to, you know, Dick or Tim or Jason or Barbara or, you know, Terry, he is a little boring.
And I don't know.
Bat Dog has more personality sometimes.
Oof. Well, because I don't know. It makes sense that people would like to see a character like a little more. I don't know how to explain it. Like you don't.
A little more quippy.
Yeah, a little more quippy. See that, like, because everybody thinks that they're funnier than they actually are. So when they see a funny person, they're like, "Oh, relatable."
Yeah. Well, also, it's just, like, it makes sense, you know, and I think that's because a lot of people, like, as much as he's hated in-universe in his own stories, I think one of the most beloved superheroes of pop culture is Spider-Man. You know, just, like, Spider-Man is everywhere. He gets the most merchandise. He's the one who has the Macy's Day Parade balloon. You know, like, New York has essentially, in real life, adopted the character of Spider-Man as, you know, like, he's a true-blooded New Yorker, and, you know, he's a good boy from Queens, and all this stuff, and, you know, just being Spider-Man, as much as it sucks for Peter, just being Spider-Man without Peter's bullshit looks like it'd be so much goddamn fun. Like, he doesn't just fly, he swings around on ropes that he shoots out of his wrists. Like, he can web people up, fucking fly around with his acrobatics, kick people in the fucking face. Like, he can sense danger, which is very helpful.
But we, I should start keeping a tally of how many times we get off task.
Well,
but yeah,
I
really
don't even think that's necessarily off task, because I think that Spider-Man is why so many superheroes are quippy nowadays. Because, like, sure, superheroes joked and had one-liners all the way back to, like, you know, fucking the Golden Age Blue Beetle. But Spider-Man was the first one that, like, really dove into it, was just constantly fucking with people. And they even explained it that that's him dealing with all of the crazy bullshit he's having to see. Like, that's why he's not constantly screaming and yelling, "Oh shit!" Like, and that makes sense. So, but yeah, so this is, and funny enough, this movie was a year after Beetlejuice, which also starred Michael Keaton and was directed by Tim Burton. And I think, if I remember correctly, Batman wasn't greenlit by the studio until after they saw that Beetlejuice was a success. And
wait, so they would film all that and then...
No, they had a director lined up. They had greenlit to start production.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and actually, Keaton caused controversy.
How?
Because most people who hadn't seen Beetlejuice, because, it was kind of a niche movie. It was dark and weird and all that shit. It was a Tim Burton film. Knew Keaton from being a sitcom actor on TV. He was a comedy actor. And so, they were like, oh, what? They're having this fucking silly wackadoo guy as Bruce Wayne, as Batman, and a lot of comic book fans were like, oh, it's just going to be another Adam West, because at that time, people didn't really appreciate the Adam West thing anymore, because that's all anybody ever talked about in the pop culture, That and Super Friends, and both of those were kind of on the same thing of cheesiness. And they wanted a dark Batman. They wanted the Batman that had been seen in comics for so long. And they were like, oh, we're not going to get that. But then the trailer came out, and they were like, okay. All right. Yeah, so...
But yeah, no idea what we're walking into now, because I'm just... My head is full of trivia, and my knowledge is still very limited.
Yeah. So, I believe you rented this on Amazon for what, $4? $5?
Yeah, so the list price was $3.99, but they had it on discount for $1.99. I don't know if there's a special promotion going on right now or what's the deal there, but I'm not going to complain. I saved $2.
Yeah, so if you see this right when it hits the air, hi all one of you. If you're watching this in the future, we're not famous at this point.
We're just two goofs trying to have a good time.
I actually have it on physical. So
listen
to that crisp case.
Damn, the fact that I know that I think my dad watched this movie, I should have asked him if he had it.
Yeah, I actually have this on a 4-pack that includes Batman, Batman Returns, Batman Forever, and Batman and Robin, all of the 80s to 90s films, in chronological and descending order of quality. I'm not gonna lie, Batman Forever and Batman and Robin compared to the first two are god awful, but I still love them. Especially because George Clooney plays Batman.
Oh.
In one of them. And another one is Val Kilmer. But yeah, so I think that's it for the pre-show dialogue. When we come back, we will have watched the movie. And I think that if I'm correct, because I know you liked Rudolph, and you thought that the art in Pocahontas was good, but you were kind of meh on both of them just because you're an adult watching these and they're more geared toward children. This is more general audiences to adult, and I think this will make a more lasting impression.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for too, since I guess as far as what movies are, I prefer more action stuff anyway, just because I've just gotten very used to the MCU, and that's what I gravitate towards these days.
Yeah. So I think this is going to be the first one, if I'm correct, and we get the reaction that I'm hoping for from my mental predictions. When you come back, Kat is going to be so hyped to eventually watch the sequel to this movie.
Well,
So,
but I mean, if you think it's as good as it is, we should, because I mean, I managed to find something to like about both of the previous movies. So, if it's actually like yay, then it'll be even more yay.
yeah, this movie. One last thing. This movie is what inspired the animated series, which led to the Justice League cartoon. This movie's theme is the one that is still recognized as the Batman theme. So, it is pretty important in Batman mythos.
Okay.
So, I think I've watched it recently within the last few years. I think it stands the test of time. So, wish us luck. This would be the point where, you pause it and watch it for yourself if you haven't. Or if you just want to watch it again. It's a good movie, Might as well if you have, like an hour and a half to spare, 2 hours? I don't know.
Yeah, we can all find some time. If you're,
Yeah.
I mean, you're probably, if you're, it's not going to be New Year's by the time this episode comes out, but...
Unless I'm really fast in editing. But, yeah, so, grab
Well, I
your
mean, you
bat
gotta edit
popcorn.
out all these barks if you can.
No. Shit dollars must stay. But yeah, see you then.
All right. See you guys. Welcome back, everyone.
Yeah. We are back. We have just watched 1989's Batman, directed by Tim Burton, starring Michael Keaton and Jack Nicholson. Kat, what were your impressions?
Okay, so I kind of had like the plot, and so if we're gonna start with, I fucking loved Keaton. I loved him as Bruce Wayne. He looked so unassuming outside of the costume. It was so good.
Yeah,
and
like it's funny you mentioned that, because I've noticed this, like, as I've grown up, I noticed more and more subtleties to Keaton's acting, especially as Bruce. He, like, how did I put it? I have a lot more notes. Okay. I like that you don't... Here's what I put. I like that you don't immediately see Bruce Wayne in the movie. The first sight of him you see is Batman. And then when you first see him, unless you know what Keaton looks like, you aren't told it's Bruce. In fact, he kind of infers that he's not Bruce.
Oh, that was so good.
And it's the first hinting that Bruce is more comfortable as Batman than when he's keeping up appearances as Bruce, the heir to the Wayne fortune. Like, he's just skulking around his own party and house, like, just kind of investigating everything. He's just kind of absent-mindedly putting shit, and Alfred's having to clean up after him because he's, like, constantly just in a detective zone daze. And then, like, in the background, when Vicky and Knox are making fun of him, he seems genuinely entertained. Because, like, he doesn't give a shit about that shit either.
Yeah. But yeah, what you were saying, we see, again, the unassuming thing, I love that, and I was thinking about that later, like, because I was thinking back to him as the Vulture in the MCU, and, like, yeah, the Vulture looked scary when he meant business, but otherwise he just kind of looked like some dude.
Yeah, like, that's what added so much, like, unique anxiety to the scene where Peter's just in his house.
And like the car ride, like he just looked like a regular old dad.
Yeah, using some of that Batman detective logic from back in the day to put two and two together.
Oh, so good. I adored that.
Which actually, about the detective thing, apparently Keaton is one of those people who is very much like he gets into okay, so I looked up some IMDb trivia again, like in episode 1, because it's just fun to do, and in it Keaton said he described himself as a logic freak, and in reviewing the script and all this stuff, he thought realistically it would be too easy to put it together that the eccentric billionaire who's almost never seen is Batman. Like, So he apparently pitched a lot of different things to Burton to try to make it less obvious. Like, apparently one of his ideas was even wearing contacts as Batman, like, to make his eye color different and stuff like that. And
they didn't address in the movie because, like, normal Bruce just sounded like a meek normal dude, where and Batman was like, spoke, I'm dark and intimidating.
Yes, and he was the first person as Batman to speak in a lower register outside of Bruce Wayne, which, you know, if you've seen any Batman stuff, that is now the norm. Like, Kevin Conroy in the animated stuff did it. You know, the Nolanverse, what's-his-face does it. Christian Bale. Christian Bale does it. Freaking in Batman v Superman and Justice League, they literally have it where he has a digital, like, vocoder that lowers his voice.
Good on him for making that, like, the norm now, because that like what you just said, like, that's what I thought Bruce was doing in this movie, but maybe I missed it, but it didn't seem like he addressed it.
No, they assume their audience is of human intelligence, which is very refreshing for a Hollywood movie. But, like, yeah, because, like, Adam West, he didn't really speak differently.
Yeah, it's like, man, guys, did you ever notice that Batman and Bruce Wayne sound exactly the same?
Yeah, like, I do think that usually as Bruce and Batman, he would use a different tone, but he didn't really put on a voice. And then, you know, all of the cartoon Batmans, first off, before the animated series one, you almost never saw him as Bruce. Like, because, you know, it was stuff like the Super Friends, or it was literally just Batman cartoon that the voices were Adam West and Burt Ward. So it was literally the exact same thing. Or, you know, just stuff like that. But he was the first one, at least as far as I could see, that did that lower register. And also, apparently, he wasn't supposed to say, I'm Batman, to the criminal at the beginning.
What was he supposed to say?
I am the Knight.
Really?
Yeah, he was supposed to say, I am the Knight, but instead he just said, I'm Batman.
I feel like both of them could be kind of, like, funny and memey.
Yeah, but I Am the Knight would then eventually get put into Batman the Animated Series, where they would literally do the whole thing of, I am justice, I am vengeance, I am the Knight, I am Batman!
Okay.
And first off, okay, so your thoughts on the Batman theme that is at the very first thing with the Batman logo, and then is played throughout the movie, and then is in the credits.
I didn't really notice.
Kat, you have failed. Because right there, that is one of the most famous pieces of composition for soundtracks. Like, it is right up there with the Superman theme. And at least in my opinion, and I think some other people's opinion, that is the composer Danny Elfman's best piece of music. No offense to you, Elfman. No offense to you. I know you're still doing stuff, and I know you're probably, trying to better yourself. But you made the canon theme to Batman. So I don't think you can top that.
I'll go back and listen to it at some point.
Yeah, it's the one that's like, like all of that's, well, actually I think that might be from the animated series, but that one's based on the movie one. But were you not listening when it was doing the whole rotate around the Batman logo thing during the credits? Did you just zone out and die?
I don't know what happened, man.
You're the music freak.
I know, and I'm disappointed in myself. I want to punch myself in the face right now.
I'll you know what, at the end of this I will send you the video over Discord, and we will get your live reaction to hearing it again.
Okay.
But yeah, so I'm honestly surprised at that. If
I know.
if we ever get viewers, I feel like we're gonna have some comments on that.
Yeah, just punch me in the fucking face, guys. It's fine.
But yeah, so on with your impressions. So after the Bruce Wayne stuff.
All right. Because again, there's like moments throughout the whole plot where like I'm really like, oh my god, I love what Keaton's doing with Bruce, and oh my god, I love what Nicholson's doing with Joker.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I just need to get to like moments with that, because like Nicholson as the Joker was the perfect mix of zany and scary. Like it never felt like one was overtaking the other.
Yeah, I put that too. Like, in my notes, I love that the Joker. First off, his makeup is very reminiscent of like the very early Joker stuff, where like they had him have like more of a cold and menacing design, which you can definitely tell like when he stops being goofy and just kind of goes in the close-ups, like when he's reading the paper and stuff like this. But he just flips back and forth between like unhinged dark comedy to legitimate threat so cleanly that you're just like, I don't want to be in a room with this guy because
I'm scared. Holy shit.
I don't know if he's gonna kill me or hit on me. Like,
oh god, poor Vicky Vale. That's her whole that's her whole role with the Joker there.
Yeah, and like I said in the viewing part, like, because now that we've seen it, I can say Batman does end up killing some people in this movie. He blows up Ace Chemicals with people in it. But at that point, it's full-on war. Like, Joker is trying to demolish Gotham, so Batman doesn't really have a choice at that point. But like earlier in the film, he doesn't kill either of the muggers, even though they did something very similar to what happened to him. He tries to save Jack, like, from falling into the vat of chemicals.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't want to confront the cops. He just leaves, all that stuff. It is a more realistic version of what Batman's core principles are, instead of, just, oh, there's some muggers doing a drug deal. Well, I'll just take the bat plane and blow them the fuck away. Snyder.
Oof. Oh,
or, we'll just have Batman carrying a fucking machine gun. Snyder. I'm sorry for your recent loss, but come on. Like,
right, but as far as actors go, that was like, those were like the big two, and those were the only ones I really had like specific notes because I didn't have the names of the other actors. But like I think of like different character moments along the way.
Which they had to bend over backwards to get Nicholson to agree to this role, by the way.
How?
Well, first off, in the deal, he had a set schedule that was like different from everyone else's schedule. He like had it set that he would earn a certain percent of the film's gross income, like, and needed top billing alongside Keaton.
Huh.
And apparently, again, according to IMDb trivia, because he would like constantly like go out to eat and like do parties and shit like this, he would come in at 10 a.m. at the earliest, greet Michael Keaton, sit in his chair for makeup, and pass the fuck out. Which sounds very Jack Nicholson. From what I've seen, the dude apparently goes to award shows at least looking like he's fucking out of it. So I don't know the guy personally, so I can't say, but
Yeah. But all right, so going into our plot, where I have my thoughts and my questions. So, movie opens up with this wholesome family, that looks way too wholesome to be in Gotham City, trying to find a taxi, not succeeding, and
decent like people shouldn't live here. They'd be happier somewhere else.
Like, I'm like, you guys look too. Are you guys like just tourists? You guys look too pure in this.
No, he specifically said, "Put that map away. We look like tourists."
Wait, you cut out. I couldn't hear you. I'm sorry.
He says to his kid who has the map, "I know where we are. Put the map away. We look like tourists. We'll never get a cab that way."
Oh.
But yeah, no, that whole scene is a huge like misdirect for the comic book fans because it's a husband, wife, and a single son going into an alleyway after a movie.
See, that's what I was initially thinking too, because I'm like,
it was Bruce and his parents. Yeah.
Yep.
Which, fun fact, at least from what I can tell, as someone who's done animation and stuff like that, who knows a bit about, using animation as sort of a movie trick, that first scene where you see the top-down view of Batman, that's animated. It doesn't move like a real person. The shadow, like, kind of hitches like cell animation, and the cape doesn't move like it ever does ever again in the movie. So I'm like, that is an animated Batman.
I would have to go back and see that. That's kind of neat. That's kind of interesting.
Yeah, and there's actually a few parts of the movie where animation is done because they're working with like matte paintings and stuff. Like when they turn the searchlights onto the cathedral, the spotlights are animated on top of a cell of the cathedral, which is a matte painting.
Okay. So, all right, Batman, rushes in, saves the day, tells our baddies, tell your buddies I'm Batman.
Yeah, I mean, does he really save the day? He kind of allows the mugging to happen. Then he just beats the shit out of the criminals. But again, this is supposed to be early in Batman's career. And in fact, like the reference material that Tim Burton was given by the producer, I think, was the first year of Detective Comics, like the stuff from Batman's introduction to right before Robin joined. So this is early times.
Okay.
In Batman's career, which is why, like the cops don't know he exists. They think it's a rumor.
Yeah, because I had this in my original notes because, the second I see Batman appear, like I write that in big letters, not an origin story, but then no one knows what Batman is, so I'm like, is it somewhere between?
Yeah, it's essentially like his first year or first years. But yeah, it's early on in Batman's career, but he's already Batman. And in fact, it's actually very interesting because a lot of movies and Batman media go very much into Batman's origin and then maybe not so much into, like, the origin of the villain. Especially when it's the Joker. Like, The Dark Knight, we know everything about Batman because there's been a whole movie of origin for him, and it never fucking explains where Joker came from, who he is, or why he's doing what he's doing. Like, which is true to the character because comic book Joker would tell you if he's going to have an origin, might as well make it multiple choice. But, yeah, like it's kind of interesting. And I think the reason that they did that is because they wanted Batman to seem just as alien to normal society as the Joker. This is a tale of two absolutely broken people who broke in the opposite way. Jack went crazy and murderous, where Batman became a vigilante for justice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was interesting to see the public just kind of have like not so great feelings about either initially.
Mm-hmm.
But speaking of Batman's role in the public, or Bruce, so in that press conference that was like at the beginning of the movie, you see Bruce Wayne's name there. Like, what's his deal? Like, why would he be there?
I don't think they explained it in this movie, but in Batman Returns, which is the sequel also head up by Tim Burton, I think they do go into Wayne Enterprises.
Okay.
So he is a very important public figure, and like most very important public figures, especially billionaires, he just gets invited to shit. He tries to, do public functions and stuff. But the difference is when it comes to Bruce Wayne in comics and usually movies, unlike, real billionaires and millionaires, he's not just doing this, charity stuff to secretly line his own pocketbooks even more through tax exemptions.
Mm-hmm.
Because
yeah, that was my first
he
thought when they
also
got to that party. I'm like, is anyone making any money off this?
Since Bruce Wayne's heading it, probably not. If it was Bill Gates or something, yes. Again, sorry, Mr. Gates, but you know what you do. At least I think you're one of the people who does it. If not, let me know.
All right. Yeah. So going into the going into the next character that I'm talking about that isn't Batman and our Joker, Mr. Hello Legs Knox. He seemed like a very energetic and endearing kind of guy in a way, but good Lord, I would hate working with him in real life.
Well, remember, this was the 80s.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true, but I did appreciate his persistence in trying to get any information he could.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, Knox was originally supposed to die.
Oh.
But they liked the character's role in the movie so much that they took out the scene of him dying and let him, have that one scene where he helps in the climax.
Okay.
Yeah, I think originally he was supposed to get killed by Joker.
Oh. Well, you know what? Like, he didn't do anything wrong, so I guess I guess that worked out for him.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, Vicky Vale, like, she was just sitting at the desk. Like, were they just, like, new partners, or was she, like, what was her, like, why was she there?
She is a photographer who, and yeah, it does go by pretty quick. She does say it in the scene, but I think the first time I missed it too. Of course, I was 5, but first viewing is still a first viewing. So she is a photographer who, has just come off of doing like war photos and stuff like this. Has gotten into Time magazine, and she heard about the giant like bat who's beating the shit out of criminals story, and wants to find out about it and get photos. Like she wants this to be her next big thing if it turns out to be true.
Okay. And yeah, we got to the party, and I mentioned like I loved how normal Bruce just looked.
Yeah, and also I just read this one on IMDb trivia. Apparently, in the original script, Robin was supposed to be there.
Really?
Yeah. Apparently, in the original script, with Robin included, the Flying Graysons are introduced at the parade scene near the end of the movie. The Joker shoots the trapeze artists, sending John and Mary, Dick's parents, to their deaths, and leaving Dick to survive. Dick later becomes Robin in full costume at the very end. Special edition version of the DVD release of this movie features an animated storyboard sequence complete with the Robin storyboards, where Dick Grayson was voiced by Jason Hillhouse, and Batman and the Joker were voiced by Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill. So it was the animated series cast.
Okay. All right. The scenes after, like, following that, we get, like, so this, honestly, I might need some guidance and help through it, because I should have gone back and rewatched it, because I kept getting interrupted, so I kind of was running in and out during the next, like, 10 minutes of this part. But we got some baddies doing some things, and Mr. Future got set up.
Jack Napier, yeah.
Like,
Which again, in the comics, we have no fucking idea what the Joker's real name is. I think Jack Napier is one that they've used here and there. Like, I know there was an Elseworlds Tale Batman White Knight where Joker was like cured of his insanity and he went by Jack Napier. And then I think there was one where, was it The Killing Joke or another one where somebody calls the Red Hood Jack, and it's implied that Jack Napier, but usually we have no fucking idea who the Joker is, aside from Red Hood, a former villain who confronted Batman and the Ace chemicals, fell into the vat, came out Joker.
All right. And so like all the city politics and like crime and corruption, like we had some stuff going on there for like a hot minute, and then it never like really popped up again.
It did, but Joker kept killing all of the other criminals. So like the thing where, he's in that meeting, that's all the other crime bosses.
Yeah.
And he like electrocutes the guy to death, and then the very next scene with the mimes and everything like that, that is them in their public faces saying that, the dude who's dead but you don't know he's dead, that was the boss of the criminals, is on vacation, and he's left us to, control his stuff. And, and Knox goes, oh, you must have been really close. And then Joker kills them all, so he has full control.
Oof. Okay.
So that's why Joker took over everything.
Okay. There was a shot that I really loved when wait. See, again, I think I'm getting my scenes confused here, because I don't even know which order this went. Oh, there we go. Okay. During the shootout, where Batman wasn't really trying to kill anyone, and before Mr. Future Joker got what was that, acid?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was chemicals.
Okay.
I think they do call it acid at one point, but yeah, it's the Ace chemicals, or I think in this one they call it Axis chemicals on the sign, or maybe I just read that wrong. It's usually Ace chemicals. Okay.
There was a shot that I really liked when one of the baddies was just kind of hanging, and the cops were. Yeah, the cops were on the ground, and Batman's just looking down at them and walks away. And I don't know. There was something about that shot I thought was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And that was something when I noticed something too. We've been hearing we hear a lot of bang bang pew pew boings, and there's no blood. There's not really almost no blood.
Yeah, because it's all hitting the vats, which is why all the water is spraying and all this shit. And okay, so you've been to Six Flags, right?
Yeah, it's been a few years, but yeah.
The few years, I thought you went for Halloween. Did that not happen?
I went to. I think that was the last. That was. If it tells you, I don't even remember. The only time, I don't know. I don't remember what year it was. I just remember it was. It was at some point where I was still pretty fucking fat, so it was quite a while ago.
Okay. But the one you went to, I think, is the one up in Chicago area, right? Do they have the Batman coaster?
Yes, they do have the Batman at the Gurney one.
Does it have the intricate thing where you go through Gotham Park and then into a warehouse kind of thing, past a cop car that's been run into a fire hydrant?
I don't remember.
Because I know they have that in St. Louis, or at least they did last time I was there. But all of that, and including in the loading area, there's a Batman suit. All of that is based on the Burton one.
Oh, now I remember. I was supposed to go to Six Flags on Halloween, but it was really fucking cold, so we just went to the mall.
Okay.
Because I'm like, the fuck? When was I supposed to go? Yeah, right. But
I remember your life events better than you do, apparently.
It's God, it's so sad. What the fuck is wrong with me, dude? Anyway, so I'm trying to remember. The next note I had was because I noted this several points during my watch, but I just noted it once now. I fucking love the music that always plays with the Joker. I feel like it's really well placed, and
it's carnival circus music.
And it doesn't feel like this it doesn't it feels like it just fits in very seamlessly. It's not trying to be fake creepy, where in horror movies you hear the itsy bitsy spider, or shit like that.
And I think that's because at least from the meager knowledge I know about composing, I would assume that the music is supposed to be done from the Joker's perspective. and the Joker is legitimately having a good time. So,
All right, I was gonna say don't pause recording, but you're getting very soft again. It's really hard to hear you.
yeah, I leaned.
Yeah. Come on, man. So let's see. So I had this question too because I'm pretty sure I was thinking about I think so like the whole like his skin color after the chemicals. Like I'm allowed to make sure. I'm assuming that the whole like his skin was actually white and he was just foundationing it up in the scenes that he looked normal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And how did the chemicals fuck his mouth up?
That wasn't the chemicals. That was because remember he got splashed with actual acid, and like you can see when Batman's trying to lift him back up, that his face is all like burned and fucked up.
Oh, okay, that's right.
And
okay.
that's why he's in the plastic surgeon's table. That, he's trying to fix his face and stuff. And why he comments on like, oh, the nerves were completely destroyed and all this stuff. And look with the tools that I'm having to work with. And that's why he's got the fucked up face.
All right. I wanted to be clarified with that because I guess I forgot about the whole like his face being fucked up beforehand. So like I kind of skipped ahead to the he's with all those bosses and again the first moment where Joker really felt threatening. He just fried that dude to fucking smithereens. Like holy shit.
Yeah. Well, also right before that, can I just say that I love the Joker's introduction, like not the one in the plastic surgeon's chair, but the one where he's confronting his old mob boss.
Yeah,
because like he's in shadows and like he's actually looks really really menacing because you can just make out the shape of his like new face, but you can't really see the full effect until he comes out into the light.
Yeah, I love the anticipation of trying to see what he looked like.
Mm-hmm. Because you can just make it out, and you're like, I want to see more, but I don't, and I'm, and he's like, starts out as actually menacing, and then like, as it goes, he's just like starting to become like weirdly chummy and stuff. Pulls the gun, and is just like, I'm much happier. Bang. And that's when the carnival music happens.
So good. I can't remember if this is going back or going forward, but so. I'm pretty sure I did see this movie as a kid. It was just must have been very young, and I only remember bits and parts of it. Because here's familiar scene number 1.
Okay.
Bruce and Vicky Vale eating dinner together in that oversized room.
I have another note about that. The date with Vicky shows even more that Bruce is awkward in his own normal life. He doesn't recall ever being in the dining room, is more comfortable eating with Alfred in the kitchen, and grabs a bottle of liquor when Vicky asks about his parents, and dodges the question.
Yeah.
Even seems to have trouble relaxing enough to sleep in his bed, ends up hanging upside down working out. Which, by the way, the hanging upside down thing, according to IMDb trivia, another Keaton ad. Thank you, Mr. Keaton.
What was I gonna say too? So we go from like how did Vicky even get that dinner date set up? It just kind of happened.
Phones exist.
Okay, fair. Like you could just call up Bruce Wayne and be like, "Hey, you want to go on a date?"
Yeah, I mean, you'd probably get Alfred first, but then you'd be like, "Yo, I'm Vicky Vale. I was at the party."
Oh, she seems like a nice young lady.
Yeah, that or Bruce just called her up. Yo, I'm Bruce Wayne. Want to chat?
But yeah, I had a good laugh when they're like, "Yeah, I've never eaten in this room. Let's go somewhere else." That was really adorable.
I like how he phrased it. You want to get out of here?
Because even though he was awkward, it looked like he was a lot more natural in the kitchen, and I loved that.
And the fact that like he seems like, because it seems like at this point, like, because again, this is supposed to be in a recent timeline, like Batman is a recent thing in Bruce's life. I think he considers himself Batman first, and then Bruce is the secret identity in his mind. Like is the mask. So like it always seems like he's just like, not because he's unintelligent or stupid or just is fucking up, but he seems like he's just one fuck up away from revealing the secret.
Oh my god.
In certain points, because like, you know, she goes, yeah, this house doesn't seem like you, huh? Some parts of it are extremely me.
Oh, I didn't catch that. That's
which
good.
Of course is talking about the Batcave.
The Batcave was something else.
Yeah, I actually really like the design of the Batcave because it seems, you know, kind of hodgepodge put together. You know, some parts of it clear, like some parts of his gadgets too were clearly made first. You know, so they're more like function over form. But then when you get to stuff like the jet and the car, you know, that's like clearly, like I assume some of this is probably, you know, some of the gadgets are even before he made the costume. You know, like the grappling hook, there's a lot of like exposed mechanics and shit like this to it, which makes it seem like it was put together by one guy trial and erroring, you know? So like I kind of feel like this is maybe, if I was to put it in comic book standards, I'd say year 2, maybe year 3 of Batman. You know, and I'm not talking about year 1 as in Miller year 1 where he's already in the costume. I'm talking like year 1 animated series where he doesn't have the costume yet.
Okay.
You know, he's just like in a fucking ski mask and shit. You know, beating people up. And then finally he's like, I need a fucking symbol. But yeah, I like the addition of the Batcave because there's like, you know, exposed stuff. Like some stuff is more complete than others. Like even the Bat computer, you know, it's not like the fucking super sci-fi computer that you usually see. It's just a bunch of computers working together.
Yeah.
You know, and like the freaking security cameras are analog videotape being fed to the computers. It gives it a more of a history and like, you know, flavor.
All right. Then we got another scene where in my original notes I know when Bruce was going over to the alley where his parents died and left the flowers for them, and you have Vicky Vale following him. I have my notes like, all right, Vicky, is this the first game of reporter or stalker?
Yes.
Yes.
But you know, she is. I think that was after the scene where she's like, there's nothing in his fucking file, and yet he's a fucking millionaire. Like, how does that happen?
Yeah.
And, you know, he just lied to her because Alfred didn't know that there was a lie happening, so blew Bruce's cover.
Yeah.
Fucking poor Alfred. he didn't know.
Alfred is another. I feel bad now. I didn't even have a single note about Alfred. He was a good unsung hero too.
Yeah, and he's like the only person who remained the same actor throughout all 4 movies.
Really?
Yeah.
So we get the scene with the mimes and all that, and that's when I had this question too. Is Joker's endgame just what's his endgame? Like he's taking over and now he's just here to strike fear and fuck shit up?
Well, he actually says his endgame in the date with Vicky Vale later on. He is the world's first fully functioning homicidal artist.
Okay.
And it says, "What are you hoping to gain?" My face on the $1 bill. Which I think he came up with on the fly because he'd just seen the picture of George Washington in the gallery. But I think in the comic book adaptation, it shows that the bills that he's throwing to everyone actually are fake money with his face on it.
That's what I was I was waiting for that moment towards the end of the movie, like when he's throwing around the money. I'm like these are gonna have his face on it, isn't it?
Yeah, I think in the script they were supposed to, because usually when it comes to like comic book adaptations, they're going off of the script, which is usually, you know, before post-production where some things get cut out and stuff. But yeah, I think it does. It is supposed to be Joker bucks. They're like real money, but more fun.
And can I say that I fucking loved all of Joker's minions? They were just so eager.
Oh, fucking poor Bob.
Bob was I even have that note. I'm like, Bob deserved better with a frowny face.
He had an action figure.
Really?
Yeah.
But like
he had an action figure.
He was just so loyal. He was having a good time. He was helping the Joker to the best of his ability, and he gets fucking shot. That's rude.
With his own gun.
Yeah.
Bob, gun.
Oh.
Thank you, Bob. Bang!
But yeah, we got to that dinner. Batman takes Miss Vale to the Batcave and gets that fucking film from her. I'm like, yikes.
Yeah. The modern society has fucking tainted me because I never questioned that as a kid. I was like, oh yeah, he just got the film from her. But I'm like, is she not going to check to make sure she wasn't raped?
But yes.
But people in the 80s would have never questioned that. Yeah.
And yes, familiar scene number 2. That was the car scene that I was thinking of as a kid.
The one where they're driving to the Batcave.
Yeah, when they're driving back to the Batcave, not during the whole chaos of it, because I remember it not being a more low key scene. It wasn't like a car chase or anything.
Which when I was watching that scene again, when they're around all of the really thin trees and the hills and stuff, I'm like, when did we get to the forest from Nightmare Before Christmas?
I was wondering that. I'm like, why does this forest look like this?
Because Burton.
I guess, yeah, I was, and now that I'm thinking about it again, I'm like, wait, this is Tim Burton movie, so all right, Timmy.
Yeah. Before this, he had done Pee-wee's Big Adventure, which was a movie spin-off of Pee-wee's Playhouse, which was
I have actually
show.
seen Pee-wee's Big Adventure, and I don't remember shit from it.
The only scene that I could really tell that it was a Tim Burton movie was right after Pee-wee loses his bike and he's just skulking around in the rain, and some guy goes, "Hey, are you alright?" and Pee-wee just goes I'm like, there he is. And then Beetlejuice, which I was looking up trivia about Beetlejuice too. Apparently Keaton ad-libbed 90% of those lines. Which, nice. I really hope one of the lines he ad-libbed was, wait, have you seen Beetlejuice? Have I shown you that?
I think you have.
Yeah. There's a scene where they're in the miniature model. He kicks over a tree and goes, "Nice fucking model," grabs his junk and goes, "Honk, honk." Just because that's so out of nowhere, it always makes me laugh.
So after all that, Alfred's basically like, "Hey, you gotta tell that girl what's going on, bruh."
Hey,
and this is another
hey, pretty lady, want to know my secret identity?
This was another scene where I really loved Keaton's performance because, okay, I hate the "I'm gonna tell you the truth until I'm interrupted." I hate that. I hate that so much.
But his own awkwardness is what fucks that up.
I loved
how
I described
normal people, they wake up and they go downstairs and eat breakfast while he's miming cereal and kiss someone goodbye and go to a job, and Vicky just goes, "No, you don't know Urge." But I like how he says how normal people.
But he seemed so just socially awkward and shy and afraid all at once.
Yeah,
and I'm the delivery was so good.
The only revealing "I'm the superhero" conversation that I think was done better than that one is surprisingly from Andrew Garfield in The Amazing Spider-Man. The one that's before the Tom Holland ones, but after Tobey Maguire.
Yeah, I know which one you're talking about. Haven't seen it though.
Well, there's one where it's the same thing. He's trying to come out with it to tell Gwen that he's Spider-Man, but like he just can't. He can't get the words out. So Gwen just kind of, gets fed up about it and is like, all right, well, if you can't tell me, just don't tell me. Starts to walk off, and Peter like shoots a web and pulls her back in. Because he's like, I can't say it, but I can show it.
Damn, that's cute.
Yeah, and I'm like, all right. And actually, the first Amazing Spider-Man is actually pretty decent, in my opinion. The second one, good God. Oh.
Excuse me. I feel like I do need to go back and see like older Spider-Man movies. Just like I'm so used to the Tom Holland. I feel like I'm spoiled by the Tom Holland one. I adore him.
The first two Tobey Maguire ones are really, really good. And then the third Tobey Maguire one, essentially they didn't let the director do anything he wanted.
I remember
forced him to do shit that he didn't want to do, and everybody was just real tired.
I remember hearing the discourse about how people felt about the third movie in the 8th grade band room. I remember some buddies having a conversation about that.
And poor fucking Sam Raimi, he wrote a Spider-Man 4 to try to fix it. He wanted to fix it. It was going to be with the Vulture, which I think might have inspired the fact that they used the Vulture for. Well, also it could have been inspired by the fact that I think the Vulture was technically the first super villain that Spidey went up against.
Okay.
So it could have been inspired by either of those things. But I'd like to think that Sam Raimi's treatment of a Spider-Man 4 with a Vulture, at least came up with the first Tom Holland movie.
Yeah.
But that might just be me being an Evil Dead fan and really liking Sam Raimi. He wears suits that are too big for him to make his actors laugh.
Oh, I skipped over this note. I adored the whole it's all like the beauty and health products are all fucked
Love
up. Love
that Joker.
And it was so, again,
and all of the news actors look like shit.
Yes, it was so good. Again, that whole commercial was just it was, again, perfect mix of zany and scary.
Love that Joker. I also love, too, that, they're talking about, oh, yeah, the mysterious deaths, blah, 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 of these models. And then immediately, Joker hacks the TV station and the cutouts are of those models.
Yeah. That was kind of... Oof. And, the news reporter that started laughing all of a sudden, I'm like, is she in league with Joker? And then, no. She's
a victim.
Yeah, poor thing.
Love that Joker. And I know what you're thinking. Where can I get some of these great products? Well, there's the gag. Chances are you already own some.
And so, eventually we get to the scene where Bruce after Bruce gets interrupted and Joker just storms in, and Bruce just kind of hides for a hot second to try to figure out what to do.
Yeah. Well, I also, going back for a bit, a thing of showing that Bruce is kind of broken. First off, he doesn't leave a flower at his parents' grave. He leaves it at their murder site.
Yeah.
And second, Joker has just murdered a crime boss in broad daylight. And Bruce is just standing there, kind of walking towards the chaos.
Yeah.
Just looking at him because he recognizes that it's Jack Napier. And he's just like, how the fuck? And, he doesn't even react when he gets grazed by a bullet.
I know. Alfred just puts his finger through it.
Yeah.
And even Alfred's like, seems like a semi-regular thing for him.
Yeah. Literally, he gets shot and just keeps moving forward, and I love that. He's just, so much in the detective zone.
Someone help this poor Batman.
Yeah. And then this poor broken Bat Boy. And then there's the whole thing where he sees the chemical thing, and he gets Jack Napier's file, and it actually explains why Joker's able to do all this. You know, he's highly intelligent but unhinged. Major interests include, like, you know,
Art,
chemistry,
science,
science, chemistry, and art, which then leads to the homicidal artist thing. And first off, hashtag not all artists. I feel as an illustrator, I must say, not all artists.
You're telling me there's not beauty in suffering?
I never said that. I just said not all of us kill our canvases.
I would hope not. No.
Yeah, you would hope not, because I've taken a photo of you for an art project.
Oh, shit. You could have been man. Guess I have to be more cautious of art people that I encounter in the future of my life, because you could have been a murderer for all I knew.
Yes. My trademark is I make people pose with boxes of super pretzels. And then stab.
Oh my god.
And
then we get to that a really important line. Well, God, you
ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight?
Yeah, I don't know why I didn't write that one down, but he just likes saying it. Like, what?
Yeah. It's just something I like to say before I kill people. I like the
Yeah.
sound of it. Which, no, you don't. You've killed a lot of people without saying that. Excuse you.
I think they probably just needed an excuse to have Bruce remember.
Which,
like,
okay, this is a major divergence from the comic to the movie.
Okay.
In the comics, Joker is not the one who killed Batman's parents. It is a completely separate character who is not a supervillain, or even like a future supervillain, is just a fucking mugger, like a low-time criminal named Joe Chill.
Oh.
And I can't remember in the current canon if he's alive or dead. I think he's dead. Usually it's like he ends up running in with either an early Batman villain or, you know, just a fucking mob boss like the Falcones or something, and gets killed. Like, you know, sleeps with the fishes, which...
Yeah, unceremoniously.
Which kind of robs Batman of the chance for revenge, which ends up being a blessing in disguise because he's not the one who takes Joe Chill's life, meaning he doesn't take that first kill, and thus, you know, kind of comes out of that revenge lust and decides to not kill.
Yeah, because
unless we're talking about Golden Age, where he kills a lot of people.
Oh.
At one point, he hangs a dude from the Batplane.
Jesus.
Yeah.
But like it's interesting that it plays out so differently, because like after he learns like who the killer is, and you get that vengeance now, it's like, I'm gonna kill you.
Yeah, which speaking of Joe Chill, apparently originally in the original script, right, it was going to be Joe Chill that killed Bruce's parents. And according to one of the producers, the dude who's with Jack Napier in that flashback that's kind of surprised that Jack kills the two is Joe Chill. So
okay.
In the Burton-verse, Joe Chill was there, but he's not the one who pulled the trigger.
All right, let's see. I'm trying to think what other notes I got here. So, like, following that, now we got this parade that's been kind of in the background the whole movie.
With a Prince song.
Yeah.
But also, I think we're skipping the art scene, the art gallery scene.
The art gallery scene.
Yeah, which I think is a very cool thing, like, because, you know, Vicky thinks that she's about to go on a date with Bruce.
That's right. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, at the Flugelheim Museum, which is a parody of the Guggenheim Museum.
So did the Joker set that up?
Yes.
Okay,
the Joker set that up.
That's what I figured.
And then gasses the room after giving her a gas mask. Or rather, a filtration mask.
They all dead, aren't they?
I don't know if they're dead or just unconscious. It's kind of ambiguous. I assume dead, because it's the Joker.
Yeah.
But also, something to talk about later in this scene, but two things of practicality that they let Vicky do that most Hollywood people don't let their actresses do. One, Vicky is smart enough to, until she has full proof that she's not going to die if she takes it off, she keeps the mask on.
Yeah.
She doesn't just take it off as soon as she thinks the gas is dissipated because she can't see it anymore. Mm-hmm. And the other one is in a short second, but a lot of people think that the scene is kind of cheesy, but I like it, where they just turn on a fucking boombox and start destroying the art.
That was like the note where I'm like, the henchmen were just having so much fun and they were eager about the whole thing.
Yeah. But they start, they start destroying the art and stuff, but then there's one that's like, a more dour picture. Bob's about to take a knife to it, and then it's like, I kind of like this one, Bob. Leave it be. And that's where we get the whole, I'm the world's first fully functioning homicidal artist. And all that stuff. We see that his old booty call has been mangled in the face region.
Oh, yeah, what was that chick's whole deal?
She was a sugar baby for the boss guy, who was also fucking Jack Napier on the side, which is why Jack gets set up, and why Joker comes back and is like, you set me up over a woman. And that kind of shit.
Because I thought it was just that, but, again, there was some, I thought there was, some crime politics that I was missing because I kept getting interrupted.
Oh, not to mention my favorite line that we also skipped of Joker's. He has a lot of lines that I like, but I think my favorite one, that is one that me and a few of my friends quote to each other a lot. Anytime anything goes wrong. Where it's just, just on the broad daylight killings, and I think they're still talking about Batman on the TV. He fucking spring bolt boxing gloves the TV, which Joker's got a real issue with TVs in this movie.
Yeah, I was gonna say, did he shoot at least two?
He destroyed one with the boxing glove and then shot another with a sawed-off shotgun. And goes like, what kind of a world do we live in when a guy dressed up as a bat gets all of my press? Oh. This town needs an enema. I love that line. I love saying that line. I'm sure I've probably said that line to you and you forgot it because you didn't know what it was a reference to. Because I know I've said it to people in college.
I didn't have this in my notes, and I don't know why I didn't. Because now that you say it again, I'm like, when I was watching it, I'm like, that sounds like something. That sounds like a Scott line, something he'd say.
It is a Scott line, but it comes from this. I also used to say, "Have you ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight?" a lot, but I've kind of dropped that one off.
Yeah, I thought that was familiar from something.
Yeah, I do say that occasionally. I used to ask people that all the fucking time.
And people just kind of give you the side head, what?
No, because this was early 2000s or late 90s, so it was a more recent movie. So unless it was somebody around my age who, then probably didn't know what I was talking about yet, usually people would be like, oh, that's funny, that's from Batman, but, then I would just stare at them unblinking. And they'd be like, what's wrong? You haven't answered the question. Because I've always been a weirdo who loves seeing people's reactions when they see something unexpected.
But okay, so once we got into the parade, this was when I said earlier, and you were talking about earlier how seamlessly he can go from fucking kind of almost silly and crazy to just completely scary and menacing.
Oh, and right before I forget again, the second part of practicality that they gave Vicky was when she gets out of the Batmobile, she throws her heels away to run.
Yes, I noticed that. I'm like, yes, girl.
Whereas, whereas a lot of times, all of the actresses in so many Hollywood movies have been forced to run in heels.
God,
where it's like, God damn it, just take them off.
I don't know. I mean, off topic, but I was trying to buy shoes for new job because all my shoes are old and ratty. So, and I'm like, it was such a struggle to find decent dress shoes without heels. like that didn't look like total grandma shoes. It was a little frustrating. But anyway.
Which, by the way, this might be weird for me since I am a dude. I don't understand the appeal of heels. I don't get it. Like, I know that it's supposed to, like, make them look a little taller and, like, you know, make them stand in a way that, like, I think is supposed to, like, accentuate their ass. But, like, it's not noticeable that much, at least to me. Like, if a girl's got an ass, I can tell either way. But, like, you know, them hiking it up a little bit, it doesn't do anything for me. And also,
I always thought
look
maybe,
at their
prop
heels,
up the legs a bit.
Yeah, and maybe if they look at their heels, it looks uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's going against gravity. Like, no.
Yeah.
It's just I don't like it.
I mean, it's like do you people, but like ain't for me.
Yeah, like, and I think it's just because, like, you know, I don't know if this is just part of my artist personality or just me being a contrarian, but I pretty much don't like any form of formal or business wear, which heels are a part of, because it's just part of that whole, oh, we have to have a public mask as a company. Just fucking be your goddamn self. Like,
oh shit!
You know,
okay, we're good. My computer like almost like went to sleep mode for a second there. I'm like, oh no.
But yeah, like, I hate it. I just want people to just be their fucking selves, and other people to be okay with it. And that's why I think like a woman.
It's such a struggle.
A woman who's wearing Converse is a lot more attractive to me because I'm like, she has a brain. Like, she's like, I want to be comfortable in my shoes.
I mean, again, wear what you like, do whatever, but like,
yeah.
Sometimes it's like, for a person like me, it's just hard to find fucking clothes like that look professional, but like I don't feel like constricted or weird in them.
Yeah, like I've seen people.
The best I can do is cardigans. Like that's about as formal as I can get in my regular everyday life.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, just like if you like a shirt, wear a shirt. But you know, if I just don't understand. I don't understand even the mental fucking logic loops that people have to go into to be like, oh yes, this suit, you know, illustrates power in the workplace. And I'm like, no, it doesn't. It illustrates that you spend $1,000 on a suit that you think gives you power because you're expected to do that because people have been doing that since, what, the fucking 1800s? No, nobody thinks that actually gives you power. It thinks that maybe you had $1,000, but you might have even taken out a loan to do that. We don't know when you got this suit. It might have been a fucking birthday present for all I know. It doesn't mean shit. It doesn't mean shit. I can see through the bullshit. Why can't everybody else? Like, it's clothing. It's made so that you don't constantly see your penis and other people's penis, or vaginas, or boobs, or so that you don't die from cold in the winter. That's all clothing is.
It's been a long couple weeks for us listeners.
And don't even get me started on dress shoes. Why are they so uncomfortable, and why do I need a shoehorn? Like, and dress suits, like, the person who sold me the dress suit for an interview said, all right, now remember, when you stand up, you have to button up the top button, but not the bottom button. And when you sit down, as you're sitting down, unbutton the bottom button because it doesn't work when you're sitting down. But then when you stand up, rebutton the button. I'm like, this seems like they failed to design a fucking button.
It just seems so not practical. It's not practical.
Because I can tell you right now, if I was wearing a buttoned, you know, like, overshirt that was just a normal overshirt, like a flannel or something, it doesn't matter if it's buttoned or unbuttoned. It works both ways, sitting and standing. You failed to make a jacket. It's like, oh yes, you need this special, separate thing of metal to slip into the shoe. You failed to make a shoe. You failed to make a shoe that works. How did you do that?
I will take credit of me starting this tangent, but now that we got our thought on Vicky Vale and how dope she is. Now, like, back with the Joker lines, how you said that was your favorite one.
He stole my balloons.
That one was so good. I got a good chuckle out of that one.
He stole my balloons. Why didn't
But where
anyone
like
tell
he is
me
like
he had one of
where it
those
seems like
things?
he's border, he seamlessly goes back and forth between like completely insane to
I think I know what you want. I think I know what you're wanting for the line.
and then where he's like completely coherent. It's like, now here comes the part where I release you little people of the burden of your failed and useless lives, and I'm just like, holy shit. That was chilling as fuck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because he's just been like, where's Batman? Cleaning his tights. Now, I come to relieve you of the burden of living your meager, failed lives.
And I'm just like, holy shit, he ain't laughing now.
But then he did.
Yeah. Oh, gosh.
Also, just, so after that, they gas everybody. Knox has his big hero moment where he hits two of the people holding the balloon with a wiffle ball bat. And
you
then,
tried, Knox. You tried.
And then gets hit with by Vicky in his own car and thrown into a pile of garbage. I think Joker takes a gigantically barreled pistol out of his pants and shoots down Batman after Batman, with the sights locked on Joker, misses everything.
I'm like, come on, Bruce, you're better than this.
The plot says no.
We haven't had our epic one-on-one, like, in-person confrontation.
Darling, I've got to get you to the chapel on time. Fucking thing where leads Vicky all the way up the stairs. Somehow two goons are also there.
I don't know why that scene felt like it dragged on, but it did.
A little bit, and I think it was because it was supposed to show you how fatigued Batman was because he just got out of a fucking burning wreck of a ship.
Yeah.
But it also, it gives you a breather from all of the crazy bullshit that just happened.
Yeah, because I feel like the last, 30 minutes of the movie was just a lot of crazy action.
Well, also, something that's interesting, according to IMDb trivia again, so Joker calls for transportation for 2 in 10 minutes. And apparently, everything in the cathedral scene up to that point, before the helicopter arrives, takes 10 minutes.
Oh.
So everything is happening in real time, which might be why the stairs thing feels like it goes on for a bit.
Okay.
But yeah, somehow 2 of Joker's goons are also there. One of them gets knocked out in one hit, which is very funny.
So sad.
Yeah. And then another guy just beats the shit out of fatigued Batman until finally Batman is forced to throw him down the fucking bell tower shaft.
Yeah, I'm like, ooh.
Yeah. And then the thing where it's a very one-sided fight between Batman and Joker, but it's still very entertaining.
So this was, how, like I said earlier, I felt like there wasn't really a lot of, we see a lot of bang bang pew pews, but almost no blood.
Yeah, but Joker bleeds.
This confrontation in particular, you see blood on the Joker's face.
Yeah. Yeah, because he gets punched in the face through a wall.
Yeah.
Comes up and is like, spits out the chattering teeth. It's actually bleeding. You know, it was like, tries to punch Batman in the gut, hurts himself on the body armor. And it's like, idiot, you made me. You dropped me into that vat of chemicals, remember? It's like, you killed my parents. Wait, what? You were that guy? That was just a kid when I killed your parents. I say you made me, you have to say I made you. That's just childish. When the guy with glasses, right? Oh, you would. Oh, you would. You would hit a guy with glasses. He ends up throwing Vicky and Bruce, or Batman, off the side is laughing, trying to get the thing to come apart to drop him. And the helicopter shows up. His logoed helicopter.
I noticed that. I'm like, he's getting into quick work on his art, trying to make sure everything got his face on it.
Mm. Oh yeah, even the freaking the jackets of his henchmen have his face on it.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah. But yeah, so he's laughing. They drop the drop rope. You think he's gonna get away, but then shoots it. And I love the foreshadowing of like, sometimes I just kill myself.
Oh.
Gets attached to the gargoyle and whee.
Yep. Oh gosh. Now I'm trying to so he gets caught, but does he didn't fall right away, did he?
No, he's hanging onto the rope ladder, but
okay.
It's so much weight that eventually his grip gives out and he falls. Mm-hmm. And then it cuts to him, fucking Wile E. Coyote'd into the fucking concrete.
Oh yeah,
laughing.
I had a thought about that. Like with him getting just thrown into the concrete and that laughter from that bag that they pulled. Like, what the fuck is that?
It's a recording device.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm
it's supposed to like at first it fakes you out like, oh my god, he somehow survived that, but then they pull it out and it's like, oh no, it's something playing back.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like a voice recorder or something.
Yeah, because again, that was just another like kind of like zany but still kind of chilling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just supposed to be like, oh my god, he's somehow still alive, and then oh nope, he's dead. He's very dead.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, Joker falls, Batman and Vicky fall, but it's like, fuck you, I'm Batman, and they're fine.
I'm Batman.
And another Vicky moment I appreciated because like I was thinking when they were just hanging there and they're like looking at each other. And she's just like, ugh. I was thinking, I'm like, oh no, here's the part where everything's so good and it's romantic, and then she's just like, go fuck, I'm tired.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna fucking pass out on your shoulder for a bit. I'm done with today.
Yeah. But yeah, let me take a minute. I was like, now that I've been talking about the movie more, because I didn't think much about Vicky beforehand, but like, I think I really, really liked her character.
And she is from the comics.
Okay.
Yeah, she's not, unlike Rachel Dawes in the Nolanverse, which I think was just an original character. Vicky is from the comics. Funny enough, in the comics, Vicky is a redhead, but in this she's blonde. Apparently, in the comics, Vicky was supposed to be blonde, but in her first appearance, there was a coloring error that turned her into a redhead, and they just decided to stick with it. So, her not dyeing her hair red and remaining blonde accidentally fixed the coloring error.
But I just like again, the moments you pointed out where she's acting practically, and she did her own shit and she had her own goals, and she just didn't seem like a shoehorned female romantic lead, and I liked her.
Yeah.
But she was a pretty normal person too. She wasn't like a total, like it's like, oh, I'm a total badass.
No.
I mean, she's a badass in a way, but like not like pew pew punch punch badass.
Mm-hmm. She's competent, but she's not a hero.
Mm-hmm. And then I'm trying to. I see it. Yeah. So we, ending, and now we get that cheesy bat light. Mm-hmm. And then, so this was familiar scene number 3.
The bat signal.
The bat signal. Okay, thank you. And again, another scene that made me think like I have seen this movie. That like last shot where Batman is standing and notices the bat signal. I'm like,
where it also plays the Batman theme.
Yeah. Yeah, like I recognized that shot, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I definitely saw this movie. It's just I must have been really little, so it's just been very fragmented parts that didn't surface until now.
Hmm.
But I wanted to say, like, I was excited, like, before we started recording, like, this part of it, because I was thinking the entire time I was taking the notes and, like, trying to keep up with the movie. I'm like, if this tells you anything, I'm thinking, like, okay, maybe I'll catch that on the second watch. Maybe I'll catch that on the second watch. Mm-hmm. I loved this movie. I want to see it again.
Yeah. So, I predicted right. She does love this movie.
Like, I was even thinking, like if we didn't, like, record, like, this part on the same day, like, if we decided, let's hold off till tomorrow, I'm like, okay, I would think to myself, okay, cool, I can watch the movie in the morning again before we do the next showing.
But yeah, so the next movie in this series, which is not the next movie that we're going to record, I don't think, unless we decide to, like, unless you after the podcast are like, no, I fucking really want to watch the movie, is Batman Returns, and that has a returning Keaton as Bruce and Batman. It also has Catwoman. It has the Penguin, played by Danny DeVito.
Oh my god.
And has a sort of anti-villain, morally gray, but still also really, really fucked up character, played by Christopher Walken.
Oh, I feel like any movie I've with Christopher Walken, like, I've seen, he's been kind of fucked up.
Yeah. And Batman Returns is even more Burton-y. So,
all right, I'll have to keep that in mind. Are we watching that? So we're watching that next? Or eventually later?
We could do either. What do you think?
Honestly, I think it'd make more sense to just go on to the next movie. The more memories I retain, the better I think I'll be. Okay,
so you think we should watch Returns next?
Yes.
All right, so next episode, back to Christmas.
Oh, no.
Because Returns is a Christmas movie.
Fucking hell. Okay, Joker.
Whoop.
Don't trust the artist in the room, folks. Could be a killer hiding underneath that. J.K. Scott's harmless.
I am not. I am not, and she knows it. I wield the weapon of embarrassment in public.
When you said wield the weapon, I thought rubber bands.
That's also true. I am a menace with rubber bands.
Oh, God. But
if you ever meet me in real life, do not give me rubber bands. I will shoot them at you.
And more specifically, he will shoot them at me. You want another at me?
She's not there. In which case, they're going back in your face.
What?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I can't hear you. You're soft again. Hello?
Oh, man. Kat's
Hello?
internet is betraying her right now.
But thank fucking God, this is probably the last time this is gonna have to happen.
So, we're recording this in separate audio channels, so hopefully none of this comes through to you, listeners. But for her, she thinks I sound soft right now, and I just hear a robot.
Oh. And it's not great, but this problem should be resolved very soon, I hope.
Mm-hmm. So, in conclusion, I still fucking love this movie. Kat now loves this movie. Would you say that it deserves to be, as it is right now in the public's eye, one of the greats of the superhero movie genre, and is deserving of its place as one of the foundations of the Marvel, not the Marvel, but the modern superhero movie?
I would say so. And like you said, you think it, like, stood the test of time. I was thinking that throughout the movie, that, like, yes, the movie obviously feels older, 89 and all that. They didn't have as many special effects. They didn't have the special effects that we do now that I'm used to from MCU, but like it didn't feel like aged or archaic,
And actually, some of it, because of the way they did it, actually stands the test of time better. Like, I don't know if you've gone back and watched Captain America Winter Soldier recently, which, don't get me wrong, Captain America is one of my favorite superheroes, and I love all of his movies, but all the helicarriers in those scenes look a little weird now.
Oh, I was gonna say, I've only seen Winter Soldier once, but I remember watching it and thinking, like, that was my favorite fucking movie ever.
Oh, no, it's still
don't
great.
Tell me that.
It's still great. But just, in some shots, the helicarrier, I think especially because there's so many of them, whereas, like, in Avengers, the helicarrier still looks really, really good, especially because oftentimes they're only showing parts of it at a time, so they can really focus on the render and stuff. But in Winter Soldier, there's multiple helicarriers all next to each other and all this shit, and it's just, some of it, I'm just like, this looks like a very good PS3 game.
Oh.
It doesn't take you out of it that much, though.
Okay.
Because, then Captain America does his trope in the first two movies of throwing somebody into a helicopter blades.
Ooh.
And I'm like, all right, I'm back in. And slicey, dicey.
But yeah, no, I think this, it was a really, really good movie. I don't have any massive complaints about it. Maybe, of course, I might come up with some criticisms as I watch the movie more and more. But the fact that I feel like it left an impression on me, because, again, my forgetful ass, what was I, like, as a child, that forgets literally almost everything that was shown to me. I still kind of remembered a couple scenes, so I guess that's a good sign.
Mm-hmm. Now, since I said we would do this at the end, in Kat's Discord with me, I have just posted the link to the 89 theme by Danny Elfman for Batman. She will now be able to listen to it, separated. Kat, go ahead and signal them when you press play so that they can sync it up, because we can't play it in the background here because I don't want to be sued.
Wait, so I'm confused. What am I doing?
This is what I have to work with, people.
Guys, I'm not good at this.
Go into the Discord.
Okay.
Oh, wait, this is the wrong thing. It's not in your... Well, I fucked up. I fucked up, guys. I fucked up. It wasn't her.
This is what I have to work with.
Okay, now it's in the right chat. Just let them know when you press play.
Okay.
And then just react as you're listening to it.
So press, let you know when I click play.
Let them know when you click play so that they can sync it up.
Okay.
So that they can listen to it while you're listening to it and nobody gets sued.
Okay. It's loading. Loading. Play.
I went ahead and played it too, everyone. Remember to react as you listen.
Like,
The swelling score.
I'm a sucker for crescendos. Ooh, this is some good shit. See, like, I love how this sounds. Like, this is some shit I would have loved to play, like, in high school band, but it doesn't, it doesn't sound familiar to me.
It was playing. It plays during the credits. It plays partially as like well as intermixed in other pieces, in action scenes and stuff. Essentially, they kind of use this like a musical uses an overture, where they then like take bits and pieces of this song and mix it with other parts of music.
Yeah. Like I'm a sucker for that. I'm a sucker for that kind of shit. So I'm sure as I watch the movie over and over again, I'll be able to pick up on that a lot easier.
Mm-hmm.
But it didn't sound familiar. It must be because I'm just not like a person overly familiar with DC. It just didn't sound like an iconic, familiar piece to me. But I really like it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's that. I think we can pause it now.
Yee.
So that's just what I wanted to ensure, because otherwise people would find you. She likes it, everyone. Everyone who is a major fan of Batman, who are probably already coming to my house because I said I like Terry better than Bruce, you can spare her your wrath.
That's them.
Oh. No one here. Well, we better end this up so I can grab my Master Sword replica and fight those assholes off. I have been Scott. That is Kat. Kat, where can they find us?
You can find, you can find us on YouTube at Nothing in Particular Productions. You can find us on Apple Podcasts. You can find us on Spotify. You can find us on SoundCloud. And if you want, and you can also follow our social media. We are out of the Ice Pod, one at. I very much have been neglecting the Twitter, but I will not do that this time. Until next time, to the 2 or 3 of you or so that have listened to us, thank you so much. We will see you next time.
And spread it. If you do listen to this and you like it, spread it to your friends, spread it to your enemies, spread it to your dogs, spread it like the bubonic plague throughout Europe. All right.
Yeah.
Bye.
And I gotta be better about that too.
Yeah. Just bye-bye.
Bye.